Welcome back to Founders and Funders, our new UBS series with women entrepreneurs and our conversation with Lizanne Falsetto. In part one, we talked about Lizanne's journey, her building, selling, and ultimately exiting her business. And now today, we want to talk about what was Lizanne's life like after exiting her business and what she's doing now. Okay, Lizanne, welcome back. Let's jump back into our conversation.
Great.
What was your life like after selling thinkThin? Let's start there. In our first conversation, you said it was a lot like sending your baby away to college. And we hear a lot from business owner clients that they feel various emotional changes. Did you experience any of that? And how did you handle that?
Jennifer, it was a really emotional time in my life when I sold my business. And I think the reason being was because when you sell your business, you go through due diligence. And the due diligence is like shaking your business upside down as you have to continue to grow, right? And meet your numbers. And the day that the money was going to drop into the bank, I remember the bankers calling and saying, "Get in front of your computer." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Because we want to show you that the money was dropping in to your bank account." And I sat back and I thought to myself, I didn't do this for the money. I did this because I absolutely loved what I did. And I was trying to create something that would make a difference in the world. And so at that moment, I sat back and I thought, oh my gosh, it was almost like when you have a dream and it just, it goes right across like, you know, it's all 20 years. It's like, poof, everything is kind of no longer yours. I think there's a bit of ego in that. You're not controlling what you built. I think there was a lot of sadness. In fact, I think for the first week, I was kind of walking around as a zombie, thinking to myself, you know, my daughter or son went off to college. It was my first baby. And I think the most interesting part about this is the day after I sold, Vanity Fair was doing an interview with me, and they said to me, "So, so what's next?" And I remember sitting back thinking to myself, "Really? You're asking me what's next? Like, can we just absorb the last 20 years of what just happened?" Right? It was like, slow down. And then I knew I had to take a break. I took 3 months off. And I did nothing but reacquaint myself with my children, really reacquaint myself, without business in mind, and try to figure out what was next. And did I have to go down a path of having a what's next? Right. So there was a lot of emotion that was going on.
Well, that sure makes a lot of sense. And we can feel it just hearing you tell the story. And Lizanne, when we chatted in our first part of the series, you talked about how you became a much more strategic leader in your business. So, being a planner and being strategic, my question is, how deliberate were you in planning for and creating your legacy after exiting your business? Were you even thinking about legacy and planning for it?
Well, Jennifer, one of the things we do with my new venture, the Holistic Success Method, is we teach entrepreneurs to understand early on that when you have a business, it's a full life. It's business and it's family and it's personal. They all intertwine together. And I was very lucky early on to have a great attorney that is still my attorney now, 22 years later. I have the same financial advisor who was early on with me, who helped me grow, but yet I have advisors now to the point where they come from many different levels of communication. And so, what I was lucky enough to do was build a team early on and have them grow with me. That is important. As a young entrepreneur, there's things you don't see, such as, you know, how do you set up yourself for taxes if you do sell your business 10 years down the line? And how do you think about that? How do you prepare your your trust? How do you think about laying that out? And so I was very clear that through this path, my children needed to understand that if money came into our world, because I didn't come from money, we needed to respect it and we needed to understand how to apply it in our new life, which to me was giving back.
That is a lot of vision in the midst of all that going on, and I commend you for that, Lizanne.
Oh,
And I
thank
agree
you.
with you. Being a guide with perspective is part of what our financial advisors do, and you had great advisors around you, I know. So let's dig into the Holistic Success Network, your next venture that you launched after selling your business. It's an organization supporting over 250 women and growing business owners in the Los Angeles area. I love being in Southern California, not too far from you. Why did you start the Holistic Success Network, and what does it seek to accomplish?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, by the way. I'm very excited about the holistic success method. And it came to me as organically as thinkThin did in my kitchen. I took 3 months off. I ended up, deciding, I love to cook. I'm going to go back in the kitchen. I'm going to have girlfriends over. Jennifer, we're surrounded by incredible women that have sold businesses or just passionate about what they're doing. And so I would hold a dinner party. And at the same time, I was mentoring quite a few entrepreneurs and I was loving it. And I thought to myself, when I was sitting in my room with a glass of wine with my girlfriends, going, why am I not combining these incredible women with these young, passionate entrepreneurs and bring them together to help learn from our mistakes? I never had a mentor. I kind of grew up in a man's world. I didn't have a woman I could lean on. When you're able to communicate the mistakes you make, you're able to excel growth for entrepreneurs light speeds ahead. And so that is how the holistic success method happened, very organically. It then grew into a larger conversation of how do we teach entrepreneurs to understand that you live as you work and you work as you live. Your personal and your business come together. And so the Holistic Success Network has a method that we help teach entrepreneurs how to build their legacy early, how to understand the blind spots around them from women that have been there, done that. So teach from example and mistakes. And then how do we connect them with people that we know? How do we put them in front of, the right VCs, the right partners? How do we help them thrive? And it has been an incredible project. My daughter is involved. I love that she's watching this, giving back. I think we need as women to we need to believe in each other and help uplift each other. And so the larger conversation for me would be, you know, women need to respect women. It's not this woman man situation. It's really women saying to other women, you're really smart, you're great at what you do, let me help uplift you. And so that's kind of the overtone of the Holistic Success Network. um, I'm having an absolute blast doing it, and I think we're making change, and that's really great. It's really exciting.
Well, helping other people thrive in any way is such a worthy endeavor. And one of my personal passions, Lizanne, is helping women oversee more capital, whether it's their own wealth, whether it's their business, or as a corporate leader, a P&L. So I commend you for that, and right there with you. So our viewers are building successful businesses and considering their next chapter, as you did a number of years ago. How can they be intentional about supporting the next generation of women business owners?
Well, I think it's to listen first. I think it's really to listen and to empower. The women that are in the network are so passionate. It's like when, we used to have interns come in and they'd skip through the hallway. You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
were always happy. They were always passionate. I just love that energy. And I think empowering them to keep the energy alive and to help uplift them and to listen and to guide from mistakes from a personal aspect instead of telling them what to do. So uplifting them and educating them through their own inner power is something that I think is really important. Um, I also think that we as females, the more we come together and the more that we are able to communicate our passions, it's almost like building your own tribe, right? You
Mhm.
have people that are supportive and there for you. And I think that is exactly where we need to be able to thrive as a generation of females in the growth of the business world and the personal world.
Great advice. Lizanne, thank you so much for joining us in this two-part series.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's good to see you.
You too. I know we're only scratching the surface, but thank you again to our viewers. We appreciated Lizanne's story, her personal journey, her insights and advice, and the work, Lizanne, you're doing with business owners to help women business owners. So I'll turn it back over to James Jack to give us a preview of our next program. James?
Thank you, Jennifer and Lizanne, for joining us today for the kickoff of Founders and Funders series. I thought that was great. Stay tuned for our conversation, everyone. Next month, we're going to continue the discussion. This is only the start. So for those of you who are looking for more UBS resources on financial planning, wealth building, as well as resources to support women and business owners, we really strongly encourage you to speak to your UBS financial advisor or visit ubs.com/women and ubs.com/business-resilience for the latest resources and information from UBS. Thank you again for placing your trust with us and your financial advisor teams. Be well.